Hey friends, what's up? Philip here with Points of Philip, and I'm actually going to be here because I want to rank my favorite catch-all cards, and I'm going to talk about which one's best for me, and it might be what's best for you too. Now, before we go ahead and go into maximizing that 2% category, please go ahead and like and subscribe, and if you'd like to see my videos as soon as they drop, you can go ahead and hit that bell icon. Doing that helps YouTube and me know that what I'm doing is helpful for you guys, and well, that means that more people might want to see my videos if it is. So anyway, thanks so much for doing that. But now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the catch-all credit card territory. So basically it's really super helpful to have 2% cash back or 2 points per dollar on some cards. So the reason why we call it the catch-all card is because, well, a lot of the cards that have higher multipliers, like say the American Express Gold card, well, they earn really well on dining and groceries. It gets 4 points per dollar. It also gets 3 points per dollar on airfare. But it also gets 1 point per dollar on everything else. And so if you want to earn more than that on, say, going shopping or your utilities payments, well, you might have to rely on a catch-all credit card. And so it's important to note too that some are straight cash back and some have transferable currencies, and some have transferable currencies that can be redeemed for cash back, which is kind of nice. And so I personally really would prefer transferable currencies, and so that's kind of going to be where my ranking is. But if you're team cashback, please let me know which one is your top catch-all card in the comment section below. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some key considerations here. So this is my ranking based on my preferences for rewards and miles. So your mileage may vary quite literally. Now, your investment strategy could also kind of come into play here. There are a number of these cards here that do work with investment banks, right? And so you can actually use your credit card rewards for, say, planning for retirement and something like that. So if that's kind of your goal, then your credit card strategy could be a little bit different than mine, at least the way it is now. So it depends on what you value, right? Do you want to boost your retirement? Do you value cash back, or do you value points and miles and transferable currencies and things like that? So without further ado, let's go ahead and rank my top 10 catch-all credit cards. And so coming in at number 10 is going to be the Capital One Quicksilver credit card. And so I'm going to go ahead and go with the no annual fee version one because, well, the Quicksilver one has a $39 annual fee. It's there's no real reason for it to exist. Like if you're not capable of getting qualified for the Quicksilver regular card, just get a secured Discover card, hold it for 6 months to a year, and then apply again. Right now, this one here, the Quicksilver card, gets 1.5% cash back on every single purchase. Now, there are no limits. There's no, anything to worry about. 1.5% back every time you swipe the card. Now, here's the thing with Capital One. If you hold either the Venture One card with no annual fee, the Venture card with a $95 annual fee, or the Venture X with a $395 annual fee, you can actually transfer your Capital One cash back into Capital One Venture Miles. And so you can actually use this as a transferable currency. So it is nice, but the fact that it's, first of all, through Capital One and only has 1.5% cash back means that it's number 10 on my list. Now, let's move on to number 9. So yeah, 9. So the Wells Fargo Active Cash, let's talk about that. Now, this can get 2% cash back and it can be deposited into a bank account. And so there is also a nice introductory APR, and that's kind of nice. And so if you're into Wells Fargo, that ecosystem is very kind of compelling. The Active Cash is kind of a core part of that. And so that's worth considering. But however, Wells Fargo transfer partners through the Autograph or the Autograph Journey card are a little limiting. And so that's why, despite the fact that it does have a lot of strengths, it's number 9 on my list. Now, let's move on to number 8. Numbers are hard. So this one is a Citi Double Cash, and this one's interesting. So Citi is also doing a lot of really interesting things, and they're kind of, getting a lot of attention, and I think they're going to continue to get attention through the rest of 2025. Now, this has no annual fee. It also gets 2 thank you points per dollar. Now, just an aside, thank you points, it makes me feel icky, right? So the name thank you points makes me feel like, what is this? Like, is this just like a credit card points for like Dollar General or something? It feels very low rent, but that's what they call it. And they're becoming more and more valuable. So maybe that perception will change, but I hate saying thank you points, but that's what they are. Now, the great part of this is the increasingly valuable Citi ThankYou card family. And so you have the custom cash, which a lot of people really love to get multiple of. And you can also, use with the autograph card, or no, not the Citi Strata Premier, right? Citi Strata Elite, possibly down the road. There's a lot of really solid earnings in the Citi ThankYou card family, right? Now, here's the thing. This earns 1% cash back when you make the purchase, and then you get the other 1% back when you actually pay off that purchase. And so you get 2%, but as long as you use it as a regular credit card, like, as long as you're paying off your statement balance by the due date, then it's going to be a solid 2% cashback card, or you can also convert it to points. One of the great things about ThankYou points, though, is you can actually convert each point to 1 cent. And so if you want to be straight cash back, you can benefit from the entire multipliers across the Citi board, but you can also use them for transferable currencies. Now, this also can have an introductory APR rate. In fact, we've used the Citi Double Cash in the past for financing, large construction purchases and things like that. So Citi Double Cash, a little bit stronger, right? Better multipliers. We have better, credit card ecosystem, and, better transfer partners, right? So Citi Double Cash coming in at number 8. Now, this next one, number 7, is going to be sacrilegious to some of you. So I decided to go ahead and put the Apple Card here. So, and the reason I'm putting the Apple Card here is because it was actually put to me by Barry in Discord that, the Apple Card could kind of be conceived as a catch-all card. And got me thinking about it, and well, he's kind of right. Let's get into it though, and get into why maybe you may not be into it. So, first of all, the Apple Card has no annual fee. This is through Goldman Sachs currently. They're shopping around offers. Now, this gets 2% cash back when you use Apple Pay. And here's the thing: most people do take Apple Pay. So, basically, it does function as a catch-all card. And you also get 3% back on select merchandise. So it's the specific retailers, right? So you get 3% cash back on any Apple purchase made on your Apple Card. You also get 3% cash back on Nike, I think is part of there. Ace Hardware is something I've used it for. That gets 3%. Panera Bread got 3% for a little bit, but I've since heard that has fallen out. So you get some interesting things. Now, the bad thing about this card is you only get 1% cash back on physical card swipes. And well, that card is really pretty and really kind of intimidating in how thick and heavy it is, but it's, you get penalized for using it. And so I understand why people say it's not a good cashback card, but or catch-all card, but the fact that you get that 2% for Apple Pay, and if you're an Apple person and you're, probably using Apple Pay in most places anyway, well, it's a standard catch-all card. And so I understand there's a huge asterisk there, and that's why it's number 7. But it's a decent card. It's pretty interesting. So let's now take a look at number 6, the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Now, this may be sacrilegious to some of you as well, but well, I got to penalize Chase when they're getting lazy, right? So this one, first of all, has no annual fee. But it does have foreign transaction fees. And so if you're someone who's looking to take a credit card overseas when you're traveling, this is not the card for you, right? You leave this at home. There's no reason to pay this foreign transaction fees, because the foreign transaction fees alone will make you wipe out any rewards you get by holding this card. Now, this earns 1.5 points per dollar, and this is Chase Ultimate Reward points that you can convert to 1 cent per point. So it is basically a cashback card, but you can convert it to the Chase Sapphire Preferred and then use those for points elsewhere, right? So you have to have a Sapphire card in order to be able to do that. So it is pretty nice. It's definitely, the Chase transfer partners are very strong in comparison to, say, Citi or Wells Fargo. And so that's why it's a little bit higher than them, but it is 1.5 back. So that's why it's number 6. Now, we're in the top 5. So, this is about, midway through, take a breather. Let's get back into it though. So this is one of my favorites. Now, the bank in question is not, but the Fidelity Rewards Visa is, well, quite compelling. And so the reason why is because it's a no annual fee card. Well, and it has TSA PreCheck or global entry credit, right? So you use your Fidelity Rewards Visa card. For that purchase, you get points, rewards back to replace that purchase. And so that's kind of nice. Now, the Fidelity Rewards Visa is a Visa signature card, and it gets 2% cash back on every single purchase. Now, there are no points to speak of. It's a straight cashback card, but it's available to transfer to a brokerage account or a retirement account. Now, you have to be at least $25 in rewards in order to be able to transfer it out. But once you do that, you can transfer it out to a retirement account. And one of the best things, now I'm not a retirement or a tax professional, but it seems to me that my understanding is that if you use credit card rewards to transfer into an IRA, either a Roth or a traditional, that doesn't go towards your IRS, basically contribution limits. And so it could be a great way to kind of turbocharge your retirement strategy. And so it's an interesting card. There's a lot of stuff going on. And, there's also no foreign transaction fees. So we talked about that with the Chase Freedom Unlimited. This one, the Fidelity Rewards Visa, gets no foreign transaction fees in addition to having all those things. So it's a Visa card, no foreign transaction fees, and decent travel protections as well through Visa Signature. So this could actually be a decent travel card too, if you are strictly Team Cashback and you want to boost your retirement spending. So that's why that one's number 5. Now, let's take a look at number 4. And this one's, a lot of people are talking about it. I currently don't have this card. But let's talk about the US Bank Smartly card. So here's the thing. It did have a superpower. You could, if you had enough in a US Bank Smartly account, you could get up to 4% cash back on all purchases. And now that definitely would have put it in number 1 instead of number 4. But here's the thing. If you don't have anything in any of those accounts, you still get 2% cash back on any purchase, right? And so that's nice. Some categories I've heard aren't included, right? So like maybe cash equivalents, things like that. It seems like US Bank is particularly eager into looking into that. So that's something to consider as well. But it's a pretty solid card, right? So let's get into number 3. And again, I'm picking the hits because I'm going to go with the Robinhood Gold card. And so, basically, if you're still watching and you haven't gone to the comment section below, first of all, I appreciate you. But let's get into this one. So this is actually the first card that has an annual fee. And now, to satisfy Robinhood's legal department, no, they're advertising it as having no annual fee. But here's the thing. Let's take a look at that. So you have to have Robinhood Gold in order to be able to hold the card, right? But how they charge for gold is weird. So it's not like you're just buying gold like how you do on their normal website. They charge it as a $50 charge on the card as soon as you activate it, which means that essentially on their back end, it functions exactly like an annual fee. And so, well, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it might just be a duck. So I'm definitely going to try and work myself around it so I don't get sued by Robinhood's legal department. But this very much functions like an annual fee. And so that's why we're talking about it here. Now, this gets 3% cash back on nearly every purchase, and it's redeemable to your brokerage account or and then ultimately to your bank account. And that's pretty much the only way I would recommend redeeming those rewards. There are a bunch of other options, and you can see that in the link above. But I don't like any of them. So when I spend on the gold card through Robinhood, I transfer it to my brokerage account. So this can be also depositable to a retirement account or just a standard non-tax advantage brokerage account. And so that can be really helpful. Now, this also has stainless steel construction. It's kind of on, it's definitely one of the firmer cards, like the thicker cards that I have. And so that's kind of nice. It's very similar in size and weight, say, to the Ritz-Carlton credit card, if that gets you any perspective. Now, you can redeem points for lounge passes. That can be interesting if you're someone who, say, doesn't have a premium travel card. And it also does have some Visa Signature benefits. So you get, rental car protection, travel protection, things like that. So it's a solid card, but, well, there's some better options out there. And so that's why the Robinhood Gold card is number 3. Now let's take a look at number 2 on my list, and that's going to be the Capital One Venture or the Venture X. Now I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit and put these together, despite the fact that they're very different cards, right? So the Venture card, first of all, has a $95 annual fee, and this gets, so they both get 2x miles, so 2 Capital One miles for every dollar that you spend. And the Venture X card has the $395 annual fee. So that's interesting, right? So here's the thing. You can redeem your Capital One miles for cash back, but it kind of works like American Express where you get a lower redemption value. So I think it's closer to like 0.6 cents per point or 0.8 cents per point. And so if you're using your Capital One miles, definitely don't redeem them for cash. That's not going to be the way to do it. Now, here's the thing. This, you can transfer Capital One rewards. So if you have, say, the Saver card, you can use those cashback rewards to transfer to your Venture card or your Venture X. And then you can actually use that cashback as miles. And so for every cent you have in cashback rewards, that's 1 mile. And so, well, that's kind of nice. There's also no foreign transaction fees with any Capital One card. So that's currently, we'll see what happens with the Discover merger, if we can still say that. But right now, if you hold a Capital One card, there's no foreign transaction fees. And that's kind of nice. Now, here's the thing. This is a solid card. These are both solid cards. And well, why are they number 2? And that's kind of because personally, and again, this is a huge, kind of emphasis on personally, I love the Blue Business Plus, and that is why it's number 1 on my list. So first of all, let's get into this card. So it has no annual fee, but here's the thing: you earn 2 American Express membership rewards points per dollar up to $50,000 in spend. Now here's the thing: I'm not spending more than $50,000 in a year on non-category spend. So basically things that aren't grocery, aren't dining, aren't utilities, things like that, right? So this meets my needs. So here's the thing with American Express: if you have multiple membership rewards points earning cards, it all goes into one pot. And so that's kind of nice. You don't have to worry about transferring out to another card. It's all right there. It's very easy to do in the app. Now, this is a business card, right? Now, this also has a pretty nice sign-up bonus. So the sign-up bonus here, the standard bonus is 15,000 points for, I think it was $3,000 in spend over 3 months. Now, last year is when I got mine, and I used it for a tax payment, and then I got that basically almost the next day. Now, here's the thing about this card too to consider, is that it actually does have foreign transaction fees. And so I definitely didn't use this when I went to London or to Paris last year, or this past year. And so, this is basically kind of the big caveat to this card. But the fact that I really value these American Express points, because I can convert them to Hilton, I can convert them to, Air France, Virgin Atlantic, things like that. I really do value American Express points more than I value Capital One miles. And so that's why the Blue Business Plus is going to be number 1 as a catch-all card for me. And this is the one that pretty much stays in my wallet. Whew. Well, I don't know about you, but I am tired after going through all of my top 10 catch-all credit cards. Thanks so much for joining with me. I'm sure you guys have opinions too. Please let me know which one you use on a daily basis in the comments below, and I will try to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for joining me once again, and I can't wait to see you until next time.